Hare Krishna. Today we are going to begin the 5th chapter of Bhagwat Gita as it is. And the name of this chapter is Karma Yoga, Action in Krishna Consciousness. This is going to be very interesting and enlightening too. Each one of us are doing something or the other all the time. So it is for sure that we are all doing our karma. Now in this chapter, we will get to know more clearly what is Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga means doing actions in Krishna consciousness to get back the lost connection with Krishna. Now let us begin by reciting today's verse. That is the first verse of the 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita as it is. Arjun Uvacha Sannyasam Karmanam Krishna Punaryogam cha shansasi Yat Shreya Etayorekam Tanme Bruhi Sunishchitam. Arjun Uvacha Sannyasam Karmanam Krishna Punaryogam cha shansasi Yat Shreya Etayorekam Tanme Bruhi Sunishchitam. Arjun Uvacha Sannyasam Karmanam Krishna Punaryogam cha shansasi Yat Shreya Etayorekam Tanme Bruhi Sunishchitam. Arjun Uvach. Arjun said, Sannyasam, renunciation, karmanam, of all activities. Krishna, O Krishna, punaha, again, yogam, devotional service, cha, also, shansasi, you are praising, yat, which, shreyaha, is beneficial, etayo, of these two, ekam, one, tat, that, me, unto me, bruhi, please tell, sunishchitam, definitely. Arjuna said, O Krishna, first of all you ask me to renounce work, and then again you recommend work with devotion. Sannyasam Karmanam Krishna Punaryogam cha shansasi. Now, will you kindly tell me definitely which of the two is more beneficial? Yat Shreya Etayorekam Tanme Bruhi Sunishchitam. Arjun is requesting to Krishna, will you kindly tell me definitely which of the two is more beneficial? Because Arjun is perplexed, he is confused that what actually Krishna wants him to do. The first verse of the 5th chapter begins with a question put up by Arjun to Krishna. Now first, let us go back to the last verse of the 4th chapter where Krishna tells Arjun, Yogam Atisht Uttishta, which means, O Bharat, the descendant of King Bharat, you be situated in your real self and stand up and fight. The literal meaning of Yogam Atisht Uttishta is, Yog means to be connected, Atisht means to sit, and Uttisht means to stand. Now Arjun was very perplexed as to how it can be done. It is something like if someone orders to sit and stand at the same time, which is not possible for anyone to do. Either the person can sit or stand. Can we think that Krishna wants Arjun to sit and stand at the same time? No. Krishna wants Arjun to realize his true self, that he is not his body and that he is spirit, soul. And having this knowledge, Arjun should perform his actions, that is, to fight. Here, sitting in yoga means to be firmly fixed, but it seems that Arjun could not understand what actually Krishna wants him to understand. So he immediately asks a question to Krishna, which is the first verse of the fifth chapter. For us, the learning point here is this, that whenever we have a doubt, we must ask our Guru, the way Arjun asked Krishna, whom he accepted as Guru. And for us, we have our Srila Prabhupada, who happens to be on the 32nd place in the Brahma Gaudiya Parampara. So we are blessed to have Srila Prabhupada's purports. Now, let us read Srila Prabhupada's purport so that we can understand this very important verse nicely. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Anant Koti Vaishnavon ki jai. My Shiksha Guru, His Grace Hari Mohan Prabhuji ki jai. Srila Prabhupada says that the Lord says that work in devotional service is better than mental speculations. Now let us understand that what Srila Prabhupada actually means by this. Prabhupada is saying that the Lord says that work in devotional service, that is, yogam atisht uttisht, and one who works with this clarity that he is the eternal servant of Krishna. This kind of work is certainly better than mental speculations of Gyan and Dhyan. It means the people who speculate the Lord to be either impersonal or as Paramatma, who resides in the heart of every living entity. Such mental speculators do not accept Krishna to be a personality, who simultaneously resides in Golok Vrindavan Dham and as Paramatma in every living entity and as all pervading Brahman. So these people do not take to the devotional service, that is, doing everything for the happiness of only Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada says that Krishna has clearly said, Yogam Atisht Uttishta. Srila Prabhupada further says that the devotional service is much easier compared to the Gyan and Dhyan Yoga. Prabhupada explains that the devotional path is much easier as we have the association of devotees plus our senses are not deprived of anything. Devotees listen to Krishna Katha, Kirtan, take prasadam, and they do their material life duties only to please Krishna. Srila Prabhupada says that earning money for Krishna is a spiritual activity. But if the same is done for one's own sense enjoyment, then it is a material activity. And it is bound to be entangled with the reactions of the action. For example, when a person cleans his house thinking that the house belongs to Krishna, the cleaning process, if spiders or ants are killed, then he is not subjected to punishment. But if the same work is done by a person who wishes to keep his house very clean because he feels happy to be in a clean house, then he will certainly have to face the punishment. This is why it is said that the devotional path or the bhakti yoga is sublime and it frees the person from all kinds of reactions of the actions. We saw the example of two people doing the same activity of cleaning the house. A person who thinks that the house belongs to Krishna, he is not subjected to any punishment when, while cleaning, some small creatures and spiders, they die. And the same thing done by a person who thinks that it is his house and he wishes to be in a neat and clean house. So definitely he will be subjected to punishment, because the ants and spiders all are creation of Krishna, and they have Krishna's soul as a supreme soul in them. So for killing them, definitely the person is subjected to punishment. And the path of Gyan and Dhyan is very tough, because the person has to pursue all alone with so many restrictions, like severe sense control and starving the senses. Now I am very sure that we have clearly understood which path is easier amongst the Gyan, Dhyan, and Bhakti Yoga. Srila Prabhupada says that Krishna gave the preliminary knowledge of soul and its entanglement in the material body in the second chapter of Bhagwat Gita. And then how to get out of this material entanglement by the devotional service or by Bhakti Yoga. I'm sure that by now we have understood that all the living entities are spirit souls and a part of Krishna. But they get entangled in the material body because of their unfulfilled material desires. We all know that we are free to have desires of having good education, good job, good house, good food, good spouse, good children, good lifestyle, and we may work very hard for it. But it is not necessary that all our desires will be fulfilled. And even if they get fulfilled, still more desires develop. Such is the nature of desires. So, when there are unfulfilled desires and we leave the body, then we again get a material body to fulfill the unfulfilled wishes. And this is how the living entity, that is the spirit soul, is caged in the material body. I'm sure that we all have seen caged birds, how unhappy they are, because the bird is meant to fly and is happy only when it gets to fly. Similarly, our soul is caged in the material body to fulfill our greedy desires, and that is how it gets entangled in the material body lifetimes after lifetimes. And the only way to come out of the endless cycle of birth and death is to take to the process of Bhakti Yoga, which is so easy and relished by the spirit soul. So, in the second chapter, Krishna explained about the Sankhya Yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Buddhi Yoga, which is the Bhakti Yoga. Then, in the third chapter, Krishna first explained to Arjun that no one can be ever without doing actions. Action is a must till the soul is in the body. So it's very important to know that what kind of action one must do so that he may not get entangled in the reactions of his actions. Further, Krishna says that anyone who is situated in the spiritual platform has no longer any duties in the material world. It means that the person who has the knowledge that his real self is an eternal servant of Krishna and does everything for the pleasure of Krishna. For such a Krishna conscious person, material duties are not compulsory. If he does it, it doesn't get entangled in the reactions of his work. And if he doesn't do, then he is not subjected to any punishment. By this, we can understand that how Bhakti Yoga liberates a person from all kinds of entanglement in this material world. So it's very clear here that Krishna appreciated knowledge of self realization and God realization over all kinds of swadharma prescribed in the varnashram dharma. Then in the fourth chapter, Krishna explained about various yajna sacrifices so that every person gets a chance to gradually elevate from the material platform to the spiritual platform. And then again, in the last verse of the fourth chapter, Krishna tells Arjun to be fully situated in his true self and to fight. Therefore, by simultaneously laying emphasis on both, that is, working in devotion and in action in knowledge, Krishna has perplexed Arjun and has completely confused his determination. Now let us understand that why is Arjun confused? Arjun is confused because he understands that inaction or renunciation in knowledge means complete stopping of all kinds of work as sense activities. And on the other hand, if one performs work in devotional service, then how work is stopped? Arjun actually thinks sannyas or renunciation in knowledge should be altogether free from all kinds of activities because work and renunciation appears to him contradictory. Arjun seems not to have understood that work in full knowledge is non reactive and is therefore the same as inaction. I hope we remember that we have studied about two kinds of inaction in the second chapter while studying about karma, vikarma, and akarma. Karma means the prescribed duty which is mentioned for each one of us according to the varnashram dharma. Vikarma is doing things which is not sanctioned in the Shastra. Akarma means not doing one's prescribed duties. This is the first meaning of akarma. There is a second meaning of akarma, which means having full knowledge of the self, that I am Krishna's eternal servant and everything in this entire creation actually belongs to only and only Krishna. And He is the ultimate enjoyer, and I am meant to serve Him and make Him enjoy. This is known as perfect knowledge. And with this perfect knowledge, when a person does everything, then he is non reactive to any of his actions, which is as good as inaction. This concept Arjun was not being able to understand. He thought that when one has the knowledge that he is spirit soul, then he need not do any work because the spirit soul does not do any work. All these thoughts confused Arjun. So he asked Krishna to kindly advise him that what is the best for him. He tells Krishna that you sometimes appreciate karma yoga and sometimes buddhi yoga. Then you first ask me to renounce work, that is, to become nishkam or work without any fruitive desire. And then you recommend me to work with devotion. Now, will you kindly tell me definitely which of these two is more important for me? Arjun says, Sannyasam karmanam Krishna punar yogam cha shansasi yat shreya etayorekam tanme bruhi sunishchitam. We see that whenever Arjun has a doubt, he definitely asks Krishna very submissively. Arjun never doubted Krishna that he is confusing him. Rather, very humbly, he says that Krishna, I am unable to understand your instructions. Please explain it to me. This is exactly what we need to learn. When we don't understand the instructions given in Bhagwat Gita, we must read it again and again, or approach the Shiksha Guru or a senior devotee. This is the correct way to understand Bhagavad Gita as it is. Now Krishna is going to answer Arjun's this question in the next verse, and it will be beneficial for us because we have the same confusion like Arjun. Prabhupada says that though Arjun seems to be confused and bewildered, but we must never think Arjun to be in illusion. Arjun is acting in this manner because Krishna has made him act in a confused manner so that an appropriate situation can be created for giving the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Arjun heard the complete Bhagavad Gita in only 45 minutes, and not only heard, he understood it, executed it, and became victorious. This is why Bhagavad Gita is called applied spiritual science. Arjun is a perfect student and Krishna is a perfect teacher. And now we have to learn how to follow the footprints of Arjun and become a good student of Bhagavad Gita, having complete faith in the words of Krishna. Once a scholar came to Srila Prabhupada and said that he has memorized the entire Bhagavad Gita and can recite it in 45 minutes. Srila Prabhupada said, "That is very nice that you can recite the entire Bhagavad Gita. But can you live Bhagavad Gita for even 45 minutes? This is the most important thing for us to know and learn. We are reading Bhagavad Gita so that we can understand and apply the instructions in our life. But if somebody reads, memorizes, and recites Bhagavad Gita shloks and doesn't apply the instructions, then it is like licking the bottle of honey from outside. Bhagavad Gita is the complete manual of life, which needs to be applied by every human being to make his most precious human life a success. I bow down to Srila Prabhupada and my Shiksha Guru, His Grace Harimohan Das Prabhuji, for making us understand the most secretive knowledge of Bhagavad Gita in such a simple and easy manner. Now we shall meet the next week with the answer which is going to be given by Krishna to Arjun, because Arjun is confused what he should do. Arjun thinks that Krishna is telling him to be in his own self, that is Yog Atishta, and at the same time he is asking him to work in the devotional practice, in the devotional path, that is to do everything in Krishna consciousness. So he is very confused that how it can be done at one time. Now we shall wait for 1 week and then meet with the answer of Krishna. Till then, keep chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, read Bhagavad Gita, share the videos of Bhagavad Gita with others, as this is the highest way of showing love, sympathy, compassion, and humanity towards everyone. Hare Krishna.